Hey, Jade Blair here, and this is Ruffles who will be joining me today. I'm your worker in person and online, and let's talk about tax because, yes, in fact, I actually do pay tax even though the majority of my income is from my escorting business and it's done in cash. I do have an Australian business number, and so the government knows exactly what I'm doing. My business is categorized under prostitution services, so they know exactly what's up. But I can tell you that being an escort and OnlyFans girly, it is quite interesting when it comes to tax time. Some of my claimable business expenses are quite interesting. So I actually have a list of all of my expenses here, so let's go through them. My biggest expense is definitely rent. So for my in-call, I spend around $300 a week, and I'm very, very lucky to have this space that I can work from. Definitely hosting in-calls, which is where the client comes to you, is the biggest expense for practically all escorts. Some escorts do choose to be out call only, where they go to the client and then the client has to find the hotel room or host from their own home. That can cut out a lot of the expense of being an escort, that is for sure. But I prefer to have my own space. I also spent $825 on accounting and bookkeeping. So like I said, I do pay tax, and that does mean that I have a tax accountant and a bookkeeper, and they do everything for me because I don't understand numbers. Advertising and marketing, I spent $6,484. This actually wasn't as high as I thought it would be. So as for advertising, as an escort, we normally advertise on escort directory. So in Australia, this is sites like Scarlet Blue, Escorts of Babes, ID Society, Real Babes, and we have to pay usually monthly, sometimes weekly, for that advertising placement. And there are usually different packages you can pick. So, the ones right at the top that have all the flashing banners and bells and whistles, those are quite expensive, and then they get cheaper as you get less and less exposure. A lot of clients for some reason think that all of our adverts are 100% free. Unfortunately, they are not, and they can go up to thousands of dollars a month. Thankfully, I usually am able to keep mine to around $200 to $300 a month at the moment. But last financial year, I did end up investing in some professional boudoir photos. So that was very fun. They are amazing, and I have put them all over my ads, and they have definitely helped my business a lot. I probably won't update my professional photos this year because I don't think my looks are going to change very much. If they do, if I gain a lot of weight or something, then I'll have to change them. But I do also post daily on my socials, so people know what I look like. I don't need to update professional photos every other month. Tools and equipment, so that came out to $1,691. So most of this was camera equipment because I've really been trying to step up my OF game. So we got some nice new cameras, some nice new microphones, lots of lighting, which conveniently I forgot to use today. But also, tools in my industry are fun things like dildos. So I can actually claim sex toys as long as I exclusively use them for work. So I've claimed vibrators, suction toys, lots of dildos, butt plugs, cock rings, you name it, it's there. And it's one of the reasons why it's actually quite hard to find a good bookkeeper and accountant in this industry, because a lot of people just they don't know what we can claim, or they feel really uncomfortable about putting that down as a claim. But it is a legitimate business expense. I couldn't make money doing those bookings without those toys, so they are a necessary tool. Cleaning is definitely a thing that a lot of clients forget that we have to do in general. So I spent $806 on various cleaning expenses. So this is everything from having things professionally washed, having the carpet shampooed, but even little things just like washing powder and disinfectant, everything needs to be cleaned, right? Light switches, door handles, anything that has been touched with dirty, lubey fingers must be cleaned after every single booking. The shower needs to be disinfected after every single booking. No one is getting toe fungus in my shower, okay? And a lot of people don't realize how much actually goes into this. So for a booking, a 1 hour booking, I will probably spend about 20 minutes purely just cleaning, disinfecting, and making the bed. And a lot of clients forget how much work goes into our bookings and expenses go into our bookings when we set our prices. They're like, why are you so expensive? And I'm like, well, you're not really paying for an hour. You're actually paying for 2 hours when you consider getting the room ready and getting myself ready, and then all the expenses that go into that. Can you stop huffing back there? You're making it sound like something weird's happening, dog. Consumables. This is always a fun one. So I think my biggest consumable is definitely condoms and lube. I actually buy them in bulk. So you can buy 5-liter tubs of lube, and I buy 150 condoms for $30. So they are definitely really big consumables that I feel are pretty unique to this industry. But things like hand sanitizer, baby wipes, massage oil, candles that I use for the clients, mouthwash, body wash, hand soap, even like the drinks that I give my clients. So like I'll give them a bottle of water, make them a cup of tea or coffee. These can all be claimed. It's like lots of little purchases, but they really add up over the course of a financial year. Another really fun one is costumes and props at $1,299. So costumes and props obviously includes costumes. So little nurse outfits, maids, policewomen, fun stuff like that. But every month I usually do like a lingerie order where I'll buy about 10 to 15 new lingerie outfits. So some of them will be costumes and some of them will just be like lingerie. I can claim these, but I can't claim things that are everyday wear. So I can't claim like a normal bra or like a sports bra, and I couldn't claim like a cute dress to go see clients in. I can only claim stuff that's like unusual wear, like lingerie. I like to do an order about every month just to keep things interesting. I have clients that see me every week. I want them to see me in something new every time so that they get a little bit excited. What's she gonna wear? And also so I can keep things on my OnlyFans nice and fresh. I hate it when you like pay really good money to subscribe to a girl and it's like just the same kind of photo of her tits like over and over and over again. Like I get it, there's only so many ways you can take a photo of a tit, but I try and do my best to change it up a little bit. So I try lots of different costumes, which really help kind of give you different vibes. Like there's like naughty schoolgirl and like the like seductive secretary, and you can really play up different vibes and in different locations to make a very similar photo feel very different and really kind of appeal to different parts of your brains that can get that seduction and anticipation going. So gotta change it up. So I buy heaps of lingerie. But costumes also includes makeup. So I can claim makeup, but there is a caveat. In Australia, you can only claim stage makeup. And what is stage makeup? No one knows, not even the Australian tax office. So they used to actually have like a list of what stage makeup was and what that included and like brands and stuff. But now they just say, go talk to your tax accountant. And different tax accountants tell me different things. So some say it just can't be like drugstore makeup. Others say it has to be like exclusively marketed and made for the stage, which is a problem because if you've ever done any type of theatre work, stage makeup is very different to in-person makeup because stage makeup is meant to be admired from like a good 10 meters away, right? You've got the person on stage and then the whole audience. Yeah, it does not look good close up. It is like face paint. It is grease on your face. It is not cute. So I can't use stage makeup. But other tax accountants say you can use any makeup as long as it's like high end, but different people have different definitions of what like high end is. So some will say, yeah, if it's from like Mecca or Sephora, it's totally fine, where others will say, no, it has to be like really expensive. You can't buy the Mecca brand. Other tax accountants have told me anything that a professional makeup artist would use is totally fine, but that's really confusing because if you follow any makeup artists like on TikTok, you'll see that they use a massive wide variety of products, including drugstore products, because sometimes the drugstore mascaras work really, really well. There is no point in buying a really expensive one. So I claim what I use for work. I have separate makeup that I use in my personal life, which is not very often. But I really hope that the ATO does not get mad at me for that one because I am doing my best. However, unlike other countries like America, there are a lot of expenses we can't claim. So I cannot claim my nails, I cannot claim my hair dye or my hair extensions, I cannot claim physical upkeep, so that includes hair removal or going to the gym to keep a certain physique. I cannot claim Botox or filler or any type of plastic surgery or cosmetic tattoos, which I'm going to be honest is kind of frustrating because although anyone can do this job and do quite well in it, you do not need a certain aesthetic. It is important to maintain your aesthetic so that clients will keep coming back and you build up a brand reputation and like a branded image. And the only way to do that is to keep your upkeep. So if your advertising is high class, you need to maintain that brand image. So that means having a pedicure and a manicure, having your hair done, having your eyebrows threaded. And as you age, that may mean for you getting Botox and plastic surgery. It doesn't for every worker. A lot of workers will just change their branding as they need to, but a lot of us prefer to keep a consistent branding image so that we can retain our current clients who we know, trust, and feel safe with. So I understand why they don't want to have these as deductible expenses, but that doesn't make it any less frustrating. There are a few exceptions though. I have heard of ladies who have like really out there kind of expenses. So like they have nails coming out to here, or they have hair extensions that go down to their knees, or like their hair is like literally rainbow, like different patches of colors. Those are so far out of the ordinary that they are considered like a brand expense and therefore they can claim them. But if it's like an ordinary thing, like regular hair extensions, regular nails, I can't claim it. And props, so I do have a few little props that I have used in videos and in marketing. So I've got big burlesque fans, like the ostrich feather fans. I've also used food before as a prop. So I've done videos on OF where we're like smashing and sitting on cakes and like smearing it all over each other, which was really, really fun. So that was actually considered a prop rather than a consumable because we didn't eat it. But if you weren't in this industry, a lot of bookkeepers don't know that and then end up putting it in the wrong category. Depreciation. So I spent $1,872 on a depreciated asset that financial year. This was a laptop. So my work laptop decided to die very suddenly, and it was very, very sad because it was a very nice laptop. And so I had to purchase another one like straight away. We tried to get it fixed. They couldn't fix it. We went to like 2 or 3 shops. They couldn't do it. So I had to buy a new one. And I know nothing about technology, so I just bought the one that the guy recommended. I did want one that was quite good because I use it for work, I use it for a lot of video editing, and I'm uploading and downloading quite large video files, so I did probably pay way too much for it. But fingers crossed, it actually lasts this time and I don't have to do this again next year. Linen, $315 just on linens. Now, I will be honest with you, I buy the cheapest linen I can get. I used to buy really expensive like towels, like Sheridan towels, but they just weren't worth it. The clients did like them and they comment on them, but that's not what they're coming for. And I charge quite mid-range prices for where I am, so I don't feel that I can afford to go out and buy like a $150 towel that I'm going to have to replace in like 3 months anyway, because these towels get beaten up. They are washed and then put in the dryer and they just lose all their fluffiness and they get stained really easy, you know, fake tan, makeup, oil stains. I have a lot of like mechanics that come through, and so they'll often kind of pick up the towel and like rearrange things before they actually jump in the shower, and so they get a bit of grease on the towel, which is fine. It happens, it's not a big deal, but that can be quite hard to get out. So yeah, I go through a whole lot of linen and towels and face washes and pillowcases. It adds up. And I'll be honest, I actually bought a lot less last financial year than I have in previous years. Printing and stationery and postage was $493. So occasionally, even though I'm an escort business, what I do is completely legal. So I do have to often sign things, whether that be for contracts or the ATO or leases, or to verify my identity for things like OnlyFans or other video sites. I have to physically print out, sign, and send off packages. But most of that was actually through selling my panties, which is something new I've been doing on many vids. So to get rid of my extremely large lingerie collection, I am now selling off my panties, worn and nice and sneaky. Subscriptions and memberships at $1,479. Oh my god. I am shocked by like how much money I spend on subscriptions, but when I break it down, it does kind of make sense for me. So subscriptions kind of include everything for me for like my website and my website hosting. I have to pay for that, of course. I also pay for Branded Scan, which is a monthly membership that basically the company will look for stolen content. So usually content stolen from my OnlyFans, but also TikTok and Instagram. People try to basically pretend to be me to scam other people out of money. So they find this and they send them DMCA takedown notices, copyright infringement notices. So that's about $80 a month. It is not cheap, but it has definitely saved my business and my reputation thousands of dollars. Other subscriptions are usually a lot smaller. Things like Spotify, so I can listen to music while I'm in a booking and it helps relax my clients. Even things like I have in the past purchased a Netflix membership so that me and the client can watch like a movie or something during the booking. Netflix and chill, of course, and they feel a lot more calmer with that. It feels a lot more casual to them than having like music playing. Most of my subscriptions go into like editing sites and software, so like different types of CapCut, InShot I've tried, Facetune, and a few different apps for like scheduling and texting services and email services I've all paid for, and VPNs. So it really adds up over a year. I can't believe that's over $1,000. Telephone and internet, I paid $1,136. So I do have 2 work phones. One is a Samsung and is exclusively used pretty much for content. I purchased it because it has a much better camera than my original work phone, and of course it does need a bit of a data plan so I can kind of edit things on the fly. But my main phone is an older iPhone that I use pretty much just for setting up bookings. But I prefer it because I don't know how to use an Android. I'm definitely an Apple girl, which pains me because Apple's not very good. So I need to pay for like 2 phone data plans, but also of course internet for my in-call so that I can do all the wonderful things like these YouTube videos. And because I live in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, where the internet is horrific, I actually had to spring for like a really high-end business plan because otherwise it would take like 2 hours for a 5-minute OF video to upload, which I do not have time for. Travel and accommodation, so that is $3,468. So I do occasionally travel for work, mostly kind of like more learning conferences. So I've gone to like different galas and events. but mostly I use it to rent Airbnbs around my area. So within like 30 minutes to an hour travel, about once a month I'll rent out an Airbnb exclusively just to take photos and film in for my OnlyFans. And again, this just keeps things so fresh and so new because there's all different types of new furniture I can like bend over or, you know, lay on. It's fun. So all up, I spent over $20,000 on legitimate business expenses last financial year. And like I said, that's just legitimate business expenses. Other things that I do consider business expenses, but the government doesn't, like my hair and nails, aren't included in that. And this is one of the big reasons why a lot of people choose to work in a brothel where they take 40, 50, sometimes 60% of your income over working independent. I originally started working in brothels and I built up my savings so I could go independent, because when I went independent, I was quite nervous to be on my own. And so I wanted to look as legitimate and professional as I possibly could. Unfortunately, there are a lot of predators out there who deliberately and exclusively see new ladies to the industry because they know that they can get away with a whole lot of batshit crazy stuff that they just can't with someone who's more experienced and confident. So I really wanted to give off the image that I knew what I was doing. So I spent a lot of money setting up a website and getting professional photos and good quality lingerie and having a good in-call so that basically I could stay safe and as a screening measure to protect myself. All of this costs a lot of money. You know, we see that $20,000 and yeah, it was drips and drabs throughout the year, but when I started, I had to lay a good $6,000 just to get my business up and running. And not everyone has $6,000 laying around to invest in a business that they may or may not want to actually do. There are definitely ladies who do one booking and they're like, yep, no, not for me. Like, I'm not traumatized, but I don't want to do it again. Can you imagine investing all of that and then realizing you don't want to go ahead? I guess I can't really complain if I can claim dildos as a business expense. But bye for now. Say bye-bye, Ruffles. Bye-bye. You destroyed this bed. It is covered in fur. This is why we can't have nice things, Ruffles. This was a clean bed. I have to wash this now.